from the investor's point of view with Charles Schwab.
I started Charles Schwab and Company from the investor's point of view. So at Schwab, you get big discounts and fast trades. And here's what I mean by fast.
Just a minute. I want to call my broker before the market closes. Because I invest with Charles Schwab, I can buy and sell stocks just like that. Listen.
Charles Schwab.
This is Sue Haynes, account 864555. I'd like to buy 300 shares of Mega at the market.
Mega's at 10. I'm entering your order to buy 300 shares at market. If you'd like to wait, I'll confirm.
Great.
300 shares of Mega is yours at 10. Anything else?
That's it. Thanks. See?
I'm Charles Schwab, and that's what I call fast, from the investor's point of view.
If fast trades and big discounts make sense to you, call for your free booklet, What a Discount Broker Can Do for You. Call now, 800-554-9000 toll-free. That's 800-554-9000.
Balance beam competitor is Chen Sui Ting. She had a rough go of it on uneven parallel bars. Let's see, at the tender age of 15, if she can regroup to give an outstanding balance beam routine. She's very dynamic on floor exercise. We saw that in the all-around, Mary Lou Retton. But this is a little different type of event.
Yes, you've got to kind of hold back on beam. She's got a different style, fast little petite style. She's very much in control. Flip-flop layout. That's a little different. She took off of the flip-flop with her feet together. There's a different view of it. Her 2 leap series, which is required on beam now. Shoulder roll. A little bobble. She's kind of losing control. You can tell her shoulders are a little off. Another standing layout.
On a beam that's 4 inches wide and 4 feet off the ground.
She's preparing for a dismount now. Making sure she's at the end of the beam. And it's a round off, double back semi with a step back.
Chen Sui Ting, our first competitor on the balance beam from China. There were some minor breaks in it, but basically it was a good routine.
Yeah, she had a little bobbles here and there, but basically it was. We're going to take a look at her dismount again. It's a high double back. You can see the takeoff. Her arms are up, her head is straight, and she opens up, balances a little back, so she had to take the step.
Vaulting, this is Zhang Yong.
Zhang does a one-arm layout Sukahara. Very, very, very nice vault. The judges have allowed for one-arm vaults now. It's really one of the most difficult vaults to perform. Zhang's a very consistent gymnast. He was in a tie for second all-around in the team competition. And he also tied for first place on vaulting with Zhao Zhanghua, who is not competing on vault today.
Peter, I know, and let me refresh our listeners, they receive knowledge, you know, they know that you have a gold medal in the team standings, a gold medal for the pommel horse, and a silver in the all-around. So that shows that you are very skilled in all 6 disciplines of men's gymnastics. For you personally, what's the most difficult event for you to compete in, and why?
Well, for me, the most difficult was this event. It was vaulting. I've always had problems with my ankles, and I'd injured myself back in 1980, and it was just tough to cope with. The second vault is a one-arm double side flip, which is kind of a neat vault. We don't see that very often. It's a very original vault. Should get a pretty good score on it.
Young received a 9.55 for the first vault. Will be average to that second vault.
And here's the second vault again. It's a one-arm double side flip. You see, he just tucks his legs and straddles them. It's tough to land that way, though, and it must be hard on your knees sometimes, too.
We are now back to the women's balance beam competition. This is Phoebe Mills.
She started very nicely. And great tumbling move. Flip-flop, layout, layout.
Chen Sui Ting, the gymnast before her, received a 9.75. That's the score Phoebe has to beat if she wants a gold medal here. She already has 2.
I think she can do it, too. She's on her way. She's just had a tremendous competition here.
And that really makes a difference, doesn't it, when you've already got 2 gold medals going into balance beam?
Yes, it sure does. It gives you that little boost of confidence you need. And this is kind of neat. Does a little handstand roll on the beam. Her leap series.
Which is a requirement.
Yes, it is.
They don't do that to kill time.
Punch front, stick perfectly. All Phoebe has left is her double back dismount. I think she can do it.
Balance beam routine must be between 70 and 120 seconds long.
She's getting ready for it. She's preparing. Round off, double back. A few steps, but a good routine for Phoebe.
Except for the landing, it was flawless.
It really was. She was flawless in the balance beam routine. She took a few steps on the ending. We're going to take a look again at the big tumbling pass that Phoebe does. Flip-flop, you can see how straight her hips are. Layout. Watch her arms on the second layout. They just pull up there. Layout. And she catches her composure there.
Phoebe Mills in need of a 9.75. And we'll be back with the vaulting competition and Scott Johnson.
What did Moet do after making great champagnes in France? Chandon. Chandon, California's encore to champagne.
Take the Legs Sheer Elegance touch test and feel the difference between sheer elegance and regular pantyhose. One touch tells you this feels rough, the other smooth. This feels coarse. So silky. That's the silky difference of Legs Sheer Elegance. In control top, too. It looks and feels as silky as silk itself. One touch and you'll know the silky difference of Legs Sheer Elegance.
Welcome back to our coverage of the McDonald's Gymnastics Classic, the United States against China. This is Scott Johnson waiting to execute his second vault. The score that he wants to beat is now 9.575, which was awarded to Zhang Yong.
Scott did a good first vault. It was a layout Sukahara, but it's not one of the most difficult vaults performed today. And so it will be tough for him to get a real top score.
The applause that you are hearing is for some balance beam results. Phoebe Mills just received a 9.75, and that puts her in a tie with Chen Sui Ting over on balance beam as we look at Scott Johnson. Scott's already won 1 gold medal. That was on the rings. He won a silver for the pommel horse.
And Scott could have won that all around, as we said before, but he made a mistake on his last event, the horizontal bar, in the team competition.
Scores 9.75.
Doing a second vault sometimes is tough in men's gymnastics because we rarely do 2 vaults. We only do 1 vault in a team competition. We only get 1 shot, unlike the women who have a chance to do 2 vaults where you take the best of the 2. And so this is only in the finals that we average 2 vaults, and they must be of a different family.
I asked Mary Lou Retton this because the women do the same thing. How do you prefer to have 1 vault and that's it, or do you like averaging 2 together?
Well, I'll be honest, with my vaulting ability, it was always better for me just to do 1 vault. but I think it shows that the best vaulters, when they have two vaults of two different families, I think it makes the event more interesting, and it's better for gymnastics.
Taking a long time with this score for Scott Johnson's first vault. We're having a judges conference. Scott's trying to be good-natured about it. But in a time like this, it has to be tough then when you're waiting for that second vault and there's a judges conference between the two of them.
Especially when you're really ready to go. I think because this is a finals event and Scott had a good team competition, he's kind of relaxed. And I don't think he feels like he has a lot to prove. He just wants to do a good job. So he's not as nervous as he would be if he was throwing, let's say, a brand new vault, or if he really, really needed to win this.
Second vault for Scott
All right,
Johnson.
you saw the green flag. Scott Johnson ready to execute. Vault number 2.
Scott's first vault was a 9.45. As I said, it wasn't a real top vault in terms of difficulty. And here's a layout Sukahara with a full twist, which is much more difficult, and Scott should get a much better score on that. Let's take a look at that in slow motion. Real good height and distance from the horse. It's a round off onto the horse, and then a layout with a full twist off. A little low on the landing, but it was a very good vault.
Wang Xiaorong is on the balance beam now for the women. As I said, there is a tie for first place, 9.75 between Phoebe Mills and Chen Sui-Ting.
Wang has got a very interesting tumbling pass that's coming up right now. It's like she's tumbling right on the floor. It's a round off, flip-flop, layout. Little bobble, but she holds on to it. I think the Chinese move so nicely on balance beam. They have good flexibility, good arm movements, very smooth. Showing some flexibility there. She's just had the one break so far. She's moving great otherwise.
Now the question will be, will that break be more of a discount than Phoebe Mills taking a little step on her landing?
We'll see what the judges have to do. There's another one. She's setting up for her dismount. Round off, double back, with one step back. Good routine.
Close.
Yes, it is.
Very close. Wang Xiaorong from China, the final competitor on this event for China. Christy Phillips will be our next competitor on beam.
Here's the dismount again. Double back, it's a high one, but she just over-rotated it a little bit, took the step back.
Scott Johnson received a 9.5, and you are looking at Gua Lingsheng, the final vaulter in the men's competition.
Road is a handspring, a Cuervo vault, which is very, very difficult. He landed on his rear in the team competition and only scored a 9.15, and I think the coaches thought that they were going to let him go up and kind of make up for that mistake that he made earlier. A lot of amplitude and a lot of power here. Good block. There's a half turn, then a pike back flip. It's called a Cuervo, named after a Cuban gymnast who performed it for the first time. But he takes a little step, which is about 1/10 of a point for deduction.
The men's vaulting horse is about 6 inches higher than the women's, plus it is lengthwise as opposed to widthwise that the women use. The runways are the same, though, both 80 feet long,
yeah,
3 feet wide.
Same runways. It'll be interesting to see what he does for a second vault. He scored a 9.65 on that one, which is the best score of the evening so far.
And speaking of 9.65, while we're waiting, the score on the balance beam for the young lady that you just saw, Wang Xiaorong, was 9.60.
That was a one-arm handspring pike front with a half twist. That was a very difficult vault, but he performed it well. I think we're looking at the vaulting champion. Look at that. Only one arm touches the horse. It's difficult to get a block like that, but he had some great rotation.
Our final balance beam competitor is Christy Phillips. The score to beat, 9.75. It's held by Chen Sui-Ting and Phoebe Mills.
Christy has a very unusual balance beam routine. She's particularly flexible in her lower back. Watch this mount. Does a walkover, loses